Hello, Community Christian Church of Moore Park. Today we're going to be interviewing our new youth pastor. If you are new to this channel, we have been interviewing all of our staff members, and today I'm going to be interviewing Samuel. So, what is your full name?
Samuel Allen Rosenblad.
And when is your birthday?
My birthday is May 12th, 1997.
And what is your favorite color?
Blue.
And what is your wife's name? And if you have any children, if so, what are their names?
We do not have any children, but my wife's name is Bridget Ann Rosenblad.
As a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
So for a long time, I really wanted to go and be like the stereotypical firefighter and policeman, all of that kind of stuff. And as I got older, I kind of started getting away from that. But it was really funny. My dad's a pastor, and everybody told me growing up that I was going to be a pastor. And my answer was always, no, that's the last thing I want to be. And now I'm here being a youth pastor. So.
All right. And then what is your job now? You can also talk about your other job because you do have another job as well.
Yes, so I have two jobs. I am the youth pastor here at Community Christian Church of Moore Park. And then I am also a residence director for Calamigos Ranch.
And what is your favorite food?
Oh, that's a great question. Are we talking like takeout or just like a favorite comfort food?
Either.
Well, if I'm gonna go, if I'm gonna do takeout, I really love Penang curry. It's Thai food. It's really good. But just comfort food, crackers, Ritz crackers.
Interesting. That was not all of our other people. They all said Mexican food, so you are new. You got a new thing. All right. What is your favorite dessert?
Cheesecake.
And what is a food item or items that you dislike?
Oh, geez. I really hate canned asparagus. It's the worst thing I've ever had.
There is such thing as canned asparagus?
Yes, it's the worst thing you will ever try.
That sounds gross. If you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
I think it would probably be teleportation for me, because I really like traveling, but I don't like paying for traveling. So.
Yeah, that's a good one. And what is your favorite book, not including the Bible?
Not including the Bible. There's a book called In the Heart of the Sea. I can't remember the author's name off the top of my head, but it is basically a historical narrative of the whaling ships that were the basis for the story of Moby Dick.
I've never heard of Moby Dick.
Oh, well, it's a
For those of you that have, then you would know. What do you like to do for fun?
Well, lots of things. I like playing guitar. I like going fishing. I like just being in the outdoors in general, going hiking, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm a really big fan of Netflix, so I spend a lot of time binge watching TV shows.
Cool. What is your favorite music, artist, or band?
Oh, goodness. This is something I've gone back and forth on a lot. I don't know that there's like a set genre that I really listen to. For the longest time, my favorite band was 21 Pilots. I literally have a playlist on Spotify that just says 21 Pilots, and it's every song that they've ever written and put out on Spotify. But I've kind of moved out of that. My wife and I listen to a lot of a band called Johnny Swim. They're really good, really talented. We love them. But if we're talking Christian artists, I really love Corey Asbury, United Pursuit, and Elevation Worship. Cool.
Share a favorite childhood memory?
Ooh. So, I think it was my 13th birthday party. No, it was my 12th birthday party. My parents threw me a Star Wars birthday party. And the weekend after my birthday was the screening of the third Star Wars movie, Revenge of the Sith. And so they took me and all my friends to the movies to see Revenge of the Sith. And then we came back home after that, and we had Star Wars cake and ice cream. And my mom put together a little scavenger hunt that was all Star Wars themed. And at the very end, there was a quote-unquote boss battle, and my dad was wearing a Darth Vader mask.
Oh my gosh.
And I got my birthday present, which was a light-up lightsaber, and we had a lightsaber duel in the backyard.
Sounds epic. Let's see. What is your favorite Bible story?
It's from 2 Kings chapter 22. It's called Many Things, but in my translations, it's called Elisha Jeered. And basically what happens is Elisha, the prophet, when he's gotten a little bit up there in years, starts walking up a mountain. And a group of kids comes out and starts like throwing rocks at him and making fun of him. And there are several translations, but my favorite says that the kids were screaming at him and calling him Old Baldy. And Elisha prays to the Lord to rebuke these children, and a she-bear comes out and attacks the kids and eats them up.
I don't get how that's your favorite, but okay.
Because it's just so far out there. But if we're talking like seriously, it's probably
He
the
likes
story.
watching children get murdered, is what we're saying.
No, no, it's just a story that lets you know that you shouldn't make fun of old people. But no, it's a serious story. You should go look it up. 2 Kings chapter 22. You will enjoy it very much. But I also really enjoy the story of Hosea. I think that is just a beautiful description and illustration of what God's love for us looks like.
And Samuel, what is your favorite Bible verse or a Bible verse that you have been leaning on lately?
So I wouldn't say it's my favorite Bible verse, but a verse that has kind of stuck with me for a long time is Psalm 143, verse 8. And it reads, "Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way that I should go, for to you I entrust my life." And that was a verse that I read right before my first experiences in missions. It was really funny. It popped up, the reference popped up in several different places. I had gone to church camp the week before I went to Africa, and it was something that we talked about in just the lesson curriculum. That was one of the many verses that was listed to go and read and chew on. And then my youth pastor wrote me a little note before I left, and she was encouraging me, gave me some words of prayer and everything, and then listed a bunch of scriptural references, and that was one that showed up again. And it's just kind of stuck with me ever since.
And what is your favorite sport?
Oh, I go back and forth between football and basketball.
And what are your favorite sports teams?
Football, college-wise, I am a huge Longhorns fan. Excuse me. Professional-wise, I am a Cowboys fan. And then basketball, I'm from Texas, so I have to like the Mavericks, but I'm also a big Lakers fan.
And at what age did you accept Christ, and can you share a little bit about your testimony?
Yes. When you say a little bit, do you mean you want my testimony, or?
Yes, pretty much.
One second.
Just not like a full sermon on your testimony.
Definitely, yeah. So I accepted Christ at the age of 5. My dad was adamant when I said that I wanted to accept Christ, that I had some idea of what I was doing, and so he had this list of questions that he asked me, and we weren't allowed to quote unquote come to Jesus. This is not a bad way of saying that, but this is a bad way of saying that, but he wouldn't let us make that decision until we knew fully what we were doing. And then I say fully because you never really can fully know what your relationship with Christ is going to look like. And so naturally, being a pastor's son, I just was in the church a lot. I served every Sunday in some capacity, whether that was just helping out with tech and things like that, or doing children's sermons, or even not leading, but singing in the praise band. I did a lot of stuff in church growing up, and my dad really tried hard to make sure that myself and my siblings weren't held to a different standard than the rest of the kids at church, but it definitely happened. We were definitely expected to be leaders, especially amongst our peers. And also being in smaller classes growing up, I felt a lot of pressure that I put on myself to be a leader, and I really kind of got burnt out on church and just stayed that way kind of end of middle school through my junior year of high school. And my junior year of high school, the fall, was when it really kind of peaked for me, that I was just not peaked, but I hit my lowest. I had gotten in a relationship with a girl and was no longer really pouring into my relationship with Christ. I was pouring more into my relationship with her. And when that relationship came to an end, I was just at a loss. I was deeply depressed and just in a really bad place. But I was also going through the study Experiencing God by Henry Blackaby. And I couldn't have gone through that at a better time, because it really helped me to see that our relationship with Christ, our relationship with God, is a mutual one. We have to come to Him, but He is always constantly pursuing us. And we get to points in our lives where we really don't feel that pursuance anymore. And I think I had really hit that point until I started going through that study and realizing, I don't have to feel Him all the time, but He's there and He's pursuing me, and He wants me to give Him all that I am. And so from there, I've went to Africa and just kind of recommitted my life to my relationship with Him, but also to the service of Him, either through missions or ministry here in America, and that's led me to where I am now.
Wow, that was a really good testimony.
Thank you.
I already said this earlier, but since he is the new youth pastor, I have a couple of youth-related questions. These weren't asked of any of our other staff, because they're youth-related questions. But where, when, and the time are we meeting for youth group?
Wednesday nights at 6 p.m.
And it'll be in this room.
I was just about to say that.
I totally took it out of your mouth. I'm sorry. Can you describe what youth group will look like, or the setting of it? Or do you have like a schedule-y type thing?
Yeah, so generally speaking, you'll get here at 6. We'll hang out for, 10, 15 minutes. We'll play a game. And then we'll go from that game into... I'm going to try and have food here every night, whether it's just a snack or a meal. It may be snacky things at the beginning, but we'll see. And then after the meal, we'll then come in here and we'll have a worship set where we'll sing 2 or 3 songs. And then we'll go from that into a short message time. And I like my message times. I do like to teach, but I also like to get everyone involved, so that if there are any questions or concerns or just doubts, anything that may come up, I really like to discuss those things in a group setting. And I realize that for a lot of people, discussing things like that in a group setting can be difficult. So I'm always open to having more individual one-on-one conversations afterwards as well. But yeah, it'll be a message with a little bit of discussion, and then we'll go from that into a little bit more worship, and then hang out, and then you're free.
Free because it's a prison here?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I shouldn't have said that. Oh my gosh. Okay. And so what is your vision or goal for the youth ministry?
It's a great question. That's something that I've really been trying to give to God. I mean, obviously, I want what every youth pastor wants. I want this youth ministry to grow. I want it to thrive. I want students to be attracted to this ministry, not just because they like us, but because they feel God here and they experience God here. I want a ministry that just encourages students like yourself to pursue Christ, to pursue truth in your relationship with Him. And if you don't have a relationship with Him, to kind of start exploring what that looks like, to know Jesus. And I want to do that through just a communal approach. When you come to youth group, I want that to feel like a family setting. Like you're coming home to people that you love, people that you enjoy being around. And of course, that's something that takes time to build. And so I'm in it for the long haul. But most of all, I just want to pour into the people that are here, that do want to be here and do want to learn, and raise them up in that and help them to see what their gifts are, and to give them a voice, so that they can come up in that and those gifts and start using them for the furtherance of the kingdom.
And then also, would you like to talk a little bit about, for those of you that were not here, which probably is a lot of you, we also had an interview time with Samuel a couple of weeks ago, and he also talked about And Weekends. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so And Weekend is something that my church started when I was a senior in high school. And essentially what it is it's a discipleship now weekend, or a D-Now weekend. But we threw out pretty much everything but the bare bones. There's worship and a message, and then from there we go out and we do a service project. And we do a service project in our community. We find somebody that's in need of something, And so, for example, what we did the first year is we built a ramp for a lady that was having a difficult time getting in and out of her house. We built the ramp, we painted the ramp, and then we just sat down with her and talked with her for a little bit. And it was just a really cool experience for all of us because, one, we got to have the awesome, cool, and fun experience of worship in a new setting. And we got to have a new teacher come in that we hadn't listened to much before. And then we got to take what we were learning over the course of that weekend and apply it practically. We got to go out and use our hands and be Jesus to people, which I think is something that would be really cool to do out here. And I've been brainstorming about how to do that in the current situation that we find ourselves in. Hopefully, by the end of this week, we will have moved into the red and we can start doing more things inside. But we'll see how that goes.
And what does the youth ministry mean to you?
Oh, goodness. That's a great question.
Asking the tough stuff here.
Yeah. I mean, it means a lot. I have felt called to ministry for quite some time, and I think that this is a place that God has called me to be, and because of that I want to be faithful to it. I want to pour into it everything that I can, and whether that means I pour in hours and hours of work and we have 500 kids show up or 10, I want to be here for the students that come here and need Jesus. Ideally, I would like to be here for the entire community, but we can only do so much, and so I'm here for the people that need me. So, yeah.
All right, that is the end of our Q&A. What in the heck?
Yeah.
Interview. Do you have anything else you would like to say to our audience that's watching?
Be sure and come on out, check us out. We're excited to have you.
You guys can check us out on cccchurch.net, which we'll put a link in the description box below. But yeah, thank you guys all for watching. You guys can go and check out all of our other interviews of the rest of our staff. And we will see you guys if we ever do a part 2. Bye guys.